Hello internet peoples, and welcome to a video that I've wanted to make for a pretty long time now, because growing up as a kid in the 90s, these games that I'm about to go over, these are the games that made me love video games and that turned me into a video gamer for life. So I had to put a lot of thought into making this list because it was a lot harder than I originally thought it was gonna be. But yeah, this is a list of games that I've just personally really enjoyed as a kid. So just because one game is gonna be ranked higher than the other doesn't mean I necessarily think it's a better video game than the other. It just means that I just personally enjoyed it more than the other one. So this list is just purely biased, just things that I enjoyed. And there's a lot of amazing and iconic 90s games that should be on this list, but I just never had a chance to really play back then. So at the end of this video, I'll do a little honorable mention section where I'll just give a shout out and credit to all these really good games that should be in this list, but just aren't because I was dumb and never played them. And honestly, I really regret not playing them. But I won't spoil anything. That'll be for the end of the video. For now, we're just going to focus on the games that I did play and that really shaped me into loving video games and probably playing them for the rest of my life. So let's get it started. Without further ado, number 10, Diddy Kong Racing. This number 10 spot, I was really debating whether to give it to either Mario Kart or Diddy Kong Racing, because Mario Kart, super iconic, amazing game, but me personally, I really loved Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing holds just a special place in my heart, and I played it actually a lot more than Mario Kart, because not only did it have kart racing, but it also had boat racing, and of course my all-time favorite, the plane racing. And yeah, the mini games. It had so many really fun mini games. I don't exactly remember all of them, but I remember my favorite one being, it was one of the plane mini games, and you would fly around. I think it was inside a volcano or something, and the goal was to collect these little dino eggs and put them in your nest and have them hatch. But the thing is, other players could go and steal the eggs from your nest. So a lot of times you would only need one more egg to win, and you'll be flying back to your nest, and you'll look and all your eggs would just be completely gone. They seriously need to make a new Diddy Kong Racing. It would absolutely blow my mind. They make all these different Mario Karts, but not another single Diddy Kong Racing? Come on, man. Diddy deserve some love? Number 9, GoldenEye. GoldenEye was an N64 classic, and I feel like 90% of people who owned the N64 also owned GoldenEye because it was just so amazing. I remember the campaign was actually so cool. It actually made you feel like a secret agent. I remember they had the little laser watch you could use on doors and stuff, all the different gadgets, all the different guns you can use. It was honestly a really good campaign. And that's not even touching the multiplayer, which I think was probably the most fun. I seriously spent so many sleepovers playing that game while just, playing split screen and just accusing everyone of screen looking, which, I gotta be honest, I never admitted to it back then, but I 100% screen looked. It was it was a valid strategy. It wasn't easy to watch, not only your corner of the screen, but everyone else's, it took skill, man. It was also an unwritten rule that no one was allowed to pick this character called Oddjob, because he was so cheap. For some reason, he was just so much smaller than everyone, so he was just a smaller target, and it was just harder to hit. So we all agreed, all right, no one pick Oddjob, just pick anyone else. He's super cheap. But if you're on a huge losing streak, it wouldn't be that hard to accidentally pick Oddjob for a round, and try to get some points back. Oh man, Oddjob. That face still gives me nightmares. It's seriously terrifying. Number 8, Mario Party. I actually had a love-hate relationship with this game. I was super little when it came out, and it was back before I could really even read that well, and I didn't really understand a lot of the mechanics of the board game portion of the game. But I remember really loving the mini games. It had such fun mini games. My favorite one was the Mario one, where you had to stretch his face and stuff and get it to match the picture of the other one. Seriously, I don't know who came up with the mini games for Mario Party, but that dude, I hope they gave him a raise, because that game, however, was the original friendship ruiner. Because it was not only a game of skill, but it was a game of strategy, deception, and most importantly, betrayal. I honestly don't know how I still remember this, but I remember like way back in the day when we were playing this game, and I still remember the exact map it was on. It was on the peach map where you're on top of the cake. I was actually in first for once. Like usually I was losing, but for once I was in the lead. I was ahead of everyone else. I was getting really good rolls like every turn, and I was the first one to come up to Toad and had the option to buy a star, but I didn't really know how to read, so I asked all my friends like, guys, which option do I choose in order to buy the star, because I had enough coins and everything. And they're all just like, oh yeah, you just choose the bottom one, right, to buy the star. I'm like, okay. I go to the bottom one, I click OK, and to my dismay, I didn't buy the star. I just kept walking right past Toad with all my coins in my pocket, and oh my god, I actually cried. I'm not gonna lie, I actually cried. Because for the off chance you haven't played Mario Party, stars are the most important thing to get. And oh man, I felt so mad and betrayed. Like, I honestly think I still have trust issues to this day because of that. It was mine. I got there first. I had the rolls. Man. Number 7, Bomberman 64. Bomberman on the N64 is still to this day, I think, my favorite Bomberman game. The campaign was surprisingly good, and all the bosses were super unique and fun to fight, except like the fish one that would just like follow you while you're on the raft. That one scared me so much as a kid for some reason. It gave me so much anxiety. I don't know why. And the multiplayer was like even better. I used to play with my cousins like all the time when I used to go visit Japan because they had that game. And every match, it's always just a race to see like who could like break out of their blocks the fastest and get like as many power-ups as possible. Because that was the key to winning this game, was you just had to collect and hoard as many power-ups as you could. I don't remember what all the power-ups were, but I remember the best ones being the power-ups where you could either kick or throw the bombs. Those were the best early game ones because they could get you out of situations where you're just completely trapped in like in a corner or something. You could just kick it away like last second. But I think the most OP power-up in the game was definitely the speed up, because those ones stacked. So if you just kept getting like speed up power-ups like over and over again, you would literally turn into Sonic the Hedgehog, and you could like literally just run laps around your opponent, and like it would be so hard to catch you. It's insane. And each map, I believe, had a different like sudden death mechanic. And each match was unique because you really had to dictate your playstyle based on what power-ups you got. And to this day, I have always like wished that Bomberman would have made it into Smash. Like, he finally made it into Smash Ultimate as a trophy. So that was kind of a kick in the gonads. But, you know, it's, maybe someday he'll be a playable character. Mega hope. Number 6, Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 is probably like one of the most iconic games to come out on the N64. I think it was the first 3D Mario game as well, and they just completely blew it out of the park like right away with it. And for the time, it had, awesome graphics, incredible level design, super fun boss fights, and even like a secret level you could access by just going to the castle room, the main castle room, and just looking up at the ceiling at the clouds. You could actually get transported to like a secret room where you could just like fly around. And I remember for the longest time, I didn't know it was a thing. I just thought it was a myth. Because back then you couldn't just like Google things and like find out like, oh, this is a secret level here, just do this and do this, right? And so I actually didn't believe it at first until someone at my school told me or something. And I finally went home. I was like, oh, it's not true. It's probably not true. And I went up, I looked at the sky, and it transported me into like a completely different world, and my mind was blown. It was honestly one of the coolest gaming moments I can remember, because it was just so unexpected. Because you would always hear back then about like all like these secrets, like stuff in the games, and like how to unlock secret levels. And 99% of the time, it was just not true. But this one time, it actually worked. Oh, I remember it being so cool. I also remember one of my favorite levels being the level where you have to go and save all the little baby penguins and return them to the penguin mama. And if you play the game, you probably already know where I'm going with this. But after you return all the baby penguins to the penguin mama at the top of like the iceberg, you would she would give you the star. And then after you got the star, you can literally just go back, pick up every single little baby penguin, and just drop them off the side of the iceberg to, I'm guessing, their eventual doom. And the mama, couldn't do anything. She can't take the star back. There's no takesy-backsies. It's ours now, so I remember doing that so many times. And just, oh my god. Oh, I was a horrible kid. It was so funny though. I mean, I can't be the only one who did that, right? Like I mean, everyone did that, right? Maybe it was just me. I'm just a horrible person. But for some reason, that's my favorite memory from that game. Number 5, Pokemon Yellow. Pokemon Yellow came out, I think, a year after Blue and Red, but I remember it being so much cooler than the other ones. Even though it was basically the same game, there were minor differences in it. The main one, of course, being that you got Pikachu, and Pikachu would actually follow behind you as you walked around. And back then, that was such a cool feature. But yeah, Pokemon was definitely my favorite game that I had on my little Game Boy. Like, I would play that game so much. Like, that was my go-to game to play when it was, you know, a bedtime I had to go to sleep. Because back then, there was like a little thing you could buy that was called a worm light. And basically what it was like, it was just like a little, tiny little light that you plugged into your Game Boy and that would just hover over your screen. Because back then, the Game Boys didn't have a backlight. So if it was too dark, you couldn't see the screen at all. But if you had this worm light, it would shine on the screen and you could play if it was just pitch black. So I remember, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who did this, but you know, when you're supposed to be sleeping, you just plug that bad boy in, go under the covers, get the light, play as much Pokemon as you want, man. That game made me tired for school so many times. No, seriously though, that worm light was revolutionary for kid gamers everywhere. The worm light, and there was also like this game cable you could buy that'll connect 2 Game Boys, and you needed that if you wanted to battle or trade with other players. Like, you needed this other cable. And I remember the first time we got the cable, it was so exciting because like, wait, what? We can trade and play against each other? Are you kidding me? Because we didn't know that was even possible at first. So I remember that just being like a huge thing, being able to trade and actually battle your friends. And oh man, it was like so much fun just building up your teams and just battling people, and you felt like an actual Pokemon trainer. Like, these were like the first Pokemon games. So like, this started everything. They're still making Pokemon games to this day, and they're honestly not that much different than they were back then, which is crazy. But you know, they have a formula that works, that's worked for like 20 plus years, so you know, kudos to them. Pokemon, classic. Number 4, Super Smash Brothers. Oh man, Super Smash Brothers is a game that I literally still love and play to this day. And like, the first one that came out, I think it was like in 1999, was an instant sleepover classic. Like, I remember so many sleepovers playing that game. Because back then, like, everyone had like their own little character that they would main and play. Mine being Pikachu, because I just loved Pokemon Yellow so much. And I just had a strategy with Pikachu that I'll just always spam over and over again. Like, it was that down B move where you just, you know, call down a lightning strike. That was my strategy. Just down B, down B, down B. Just hopefully people would, you know, walk into me and get hit, because it did so much damage. And it will like KO you at pretty low percentages compared to other moves. So it was a really good move. But yeah, this is a game that I feel like almost every kid who owned an N64 had. Because I remember I would go to like a lot of different kids' house and play this game, because almost everyone had it. Also, remember there being like a lot of rumors of like secret characters you could unlock and stuff. I think one of the biggest ones was like Sonic or something. I remember like a kid at school told me that he unlocked Sonic by, I think he said it was something crazy, like beating one of the game modes like 100 times in a row without losing a single stock. He's like, oh yeah, I totally unlocked Sonic and he's so cool. I'm like, oh, whoa, can I come over and play? He's like, oh, I can't have anyone over this weekend. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm pretty sure he didn't even own an N64. But yeah, Super Smash was just such a cool game, because it was just so cool back then just to see like all these different like characters from other games just actually fighting each other. Because there were other games like, you know, like Mario Kart or like Mario Tennis. I'm not sure when Mario Tennis came out, but there were other games that had like characters from other games like with each other. But this one where like you could actually fight, like Link could fight Pikachu, or like Mario could fight Donkey. Well, I guess Mario and Donkey Kong fought before, but like Mario and Samus fighting, like that was always just cool to see on screen and be able to like actually play. So Super Smash Brothers, still one of my favorite games to this day. Number 3, Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie is seriously one of the most memorable games of my childhood. And I still go back to watch videos of it like every now and then, and just like to listen to the soundtrack and stuff, because like even to this day, it's just, I mean, it's just so iconic. And maybe just because it's just, I get so much nostalgia from it, but it's just so amazing. He's also been one of the characters that I've always wanted for Smash, though like when he actually did come out for Smash Ultimate, it just completely blew my mind. Like seriously, that was a literal childhood dream come true for me right there. Like I didn't beat a lot of games as a kid because I was pretty young when a lot of these came out, but Banjo-Kazooie is one of the ones that I beat multiple times. And it wasn't easy. Like the last witch fight, not only was it terrifying because the witches were just, I don't know, just really scary. It was actually pretty difficult. So I was really proud of myself the first time I beat that. And it was actually a pretty simple game. Like it didn't have anything like too crazy mechanically or like too like difficult. But the things it did have, it did really well. Like the designs, the art style, the music, combat, all like the little like the weird voice acting murmurs they would do, like the game really just felt like a complete and just super fun package, you know? But yeah, every level just felt so refreshing and unique, and like you just got to go on these awesome adventures with your best pal Kazooie, and it just I don't know. I just had so many fond memories of that game. Like there's nothing in particular that stands out too much for me. It's just, you know, the game as a whole was just a really amazing package of fun. This is the best way I could put it. Like I seriously actually do want to go back and replay that game because I think it's like out on Switch or something. So, oh man, it'd be so fun to revisit that game. You know what? After making this video, I might have to do that sometime. Number 2, Donkey Kong 64. Oh, I have so many good memories with Donkey Kong 64. Seriously, one of my favorite games as a kid. Well, I mean, I guess all these games are some of my favorite games as a kid, but like this one just, I don't know, it just felt so well made and designed because you not only played as Donkey Kong, but as you played through, you got to unlock other like members of the Donkey Kong family because each one of them played pretty differently, and you had to use the different family members for different puzzles because they each had like their own little gimmicks and things they could do, which really kept the game pretty fresh, I think. Like Diddy had his peanut gun and his jetpack, Lanky had all his like stretchy arms, Tiny had her ability to turn, well, super tiny and go real small and stuff. So she was basically essential for like any level where you need to be super tiny to do. And then there was Chunky Kong, who was just basically the muscle of the group. I forget what his ability was. I think he had like a bazooka and he could turn like super huge. That way he could go toe to toe with some of the bosses and just like smack them around. And for a kid's game, it was actually pretty difficult. Like to this day, I've still never beat the last boss. I got stuck on King K. Rool for the longest time. I could never beat him because he had to play through like a few different family members just to beat that boss fight. Like you start as Diddy or something and then like you switch to like Tiny. I think he used the whole family actually. But I remember that boss fight being so difficult. Oh my god, I would get so frustrated. Because like you play the game all the way up to the last boss, and if you're not able to beat the last boss, it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like it honestly still haunts me to this day. Like I feel like I still need to go back and beat that game someday, because it doesn't sit right with me that King K. Rool like just always bested me, man. Oh, but yeah, man, that game was amazing. And of course, awesome boss fights. Like back in the day, if you had a 90s like adventure game, you had to have awesome boss fights. And Donkey Kong 64 and Donkey Kong 64 had really fun boss fights, and they were challenging. They weren't easy. And of course, you can't forget the fact that it had like the best like intro theme song of all time. Like the DK rap gets memed, but I unironically really like it. Like it's just so cool. Like, you know, most intros to a game, you just kind of like spam the A button or start and just try to skip it, but I would watch the DK intro just over and over again. I just something about the DK rap just always made me happy and just hyped to play the game. But yeah, seriously, best Donkey Kong game ever made, hands down. Number 1, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This whole video, I feel like, would just be completely null and void if I didn't put this game as number 1. Because I feel like this is like the undisputed best 90s game of all time. Honestly, you could just say like one of the best video games ever of all time because of just how revolutionary and just how amazing it was at the time. Like there's no other game like it when it came out. Like it would definitely be underselling it to say that Ocarina of Time was miles ahead of any other game that came out during that time. And it was definitely an inspiration for so many other video games that came out before it, because it really showed what a video game was capable of being. I mean, like, the overall story was pretty simple and not really unlike any other, like, Zelda games or, like, similar games like that. You know, just save the princess from the evil man, save the world. Pretty simple, but, like, the way they did it and, like, all the other stories that they fit in between was just so awesome and immersive. Like, it really made you invested in the world and really wanted to save it. Like, it just really felt like a real breathing world that you could just live and explore in. And the world would drastically change when you switched from Kid Link to Adult Link, which was really cool and an original game mechanic that made revisiting a lot of like the places you've already explored as Kid Link just feel really nostalgic and different, because you really got to see how the world was like changed and affected by Ganondorf while you were gone, and you really felt the impact of like what happened to this world and like how much like it needs you to save it. Like, it seriously gave you so much motivation to find this guy and just kick his ass. But you know, of course, before doing all that, you had to go to all these like different temples and defeat the bosses that resided in each one of them, and each one had their own unique theme and like challenges and required you to use like different equipment and weapons to beat them, and it really kept it from feeling just stale or frustrating. Well, except for the water temple. Oh god, the water temple. Oh god, the water temple. Why? Okay, maybe except for that one. Yeah, they could have left that out, and I would have been okay. But yeah, that game was just so amazing. And for as amazing of a game as it was, it had an equally amazing and epic boss fight and ending. Like, seriously, I remember being so scared and nervous the first time I had to fight Ganondorf and just like walking up the steps. Like, I actually had to take a few minutes to kind of like compose myself and breathe. And like, okay, you got this. This is what we've been training for this whole time. Because there was so much build up until then. Like, they really built up the Ganondorf to be like this really intimidating and powerful foe, you know? Because up until then, you've just been playing through the world and seeing how Ganondorf has affected it. Because originally, you're a kid, you walk around and you get to see like the world all happy and like how it is before like Ganondorf affects it. And then as an adult, you see how much everything has changed and how much of an evil influence you really had over the land. But oh yeah, man, did the ending really live up to the expectations? Like, seriously, it was such an epic fight. It was actually pretty difficult. Oh, and even after defeating him, like while you think it's all done, like nope, the tower starts falling and like crumbling down, and you have to like run and escape with Zelda. And when he finally escaped, like, okay, we did it, it's done. Like, nope, phase 2 boss fight, baby, here we go. But it was just like such a perfect ending, just to such a perfect game. And like to this day, it would always be one of the best video games ever made in my heart. And like, it just had such an effective influence on the gaming industry after it came out, you know? And I feel like it really turned a lot of people into gamers, like it did to me. So honestly, like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I even replayed it when it came out on the 3DS. Still held up, still amazing. And this honestly wouldn't have been a real list if I didn't put this game as #1. So, dang, I want to go play some Ocarina of Time now. Like, I still consider that one of my greatest achievements of my lifetime is defeating Ganondorf and saving the land and saving Zelda. Though she hasn't called me back for a while, so she might have got kidnapped again. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this and just going on this nostalgic-filled journey with me as I relive like all my fondest childhood memories of all these awesome video games I used to play. And honestly, doing this video has made me feel really old because these games came out a long time ago, but these are the games of my childhood and that really made me a gamer. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below what your favorite games of your childhood are and like what really made you a gamer. Like, what was the game that really stood out to you and made you realize like, oh my god, video games are amazing. But yeah, before I go, here are my top 5 honorable mentions in no particular order of games that I never really got to play as a kid in the 90s, but I still recognize for like how amazing they are and how much influence they had in the gaming industry. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!